Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the Basketball Bulletin. I'm Trevor Lane. He's Donnie Freeman. Donnie, I'm pretty sure SGA just got to take two more free throws. The game ended, but the referees decided they wanted to give SGA a few more free throws just to make sure he got enough for the game.
Well, regardless of who it is, they just want people shooting free throws because we had over 60 tonight. So
Oh, man.
that officiating in the third quarter, I was like, bro, what are we doing? They extended the game by like 25 minutes with all the free throws.
Especially after we got off to such like a physical start to this game too. Like, why suddenly decide? And this is what drives players crazy. Hey, we're just gonna suddenly start blowing the whistle a bunch when at the beginning of the game we didn't. Like, just be consistent. Beginning of the game to the end. Please just be consistent.
Maybe that's what it was, is they were trying to be consistent, but both sides, both of these teams shot like 30 free throws, man. It's crazy.
32 free throws for the Spurs, 38 free throws for the Thunder. SGA 32 points
70? I thought it was 60. My bad. Gee, good Lord.
Right?
Oh, did they go up after I clicked off the last 2 minutes of the game? Did they keep shooting free throws?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Oh my god.
Regardless, the Thunder do win, and the Thunder are now one win away from meeting the Knicks in the NBA Finals. 127-114 victory for OKC. A free throw fest indeed. 32 free throws for the Spurs, 38 for the Thunder, 70 free throws combined. Woo.
This wasn't a game. This was a free throw contest. Quite literally a free throw contest.
A free throw shooting contest.
70 free throws is ridiculous, man. That's got to be some sort of like high mark for the postseason.
There were so many. 17 free throws for SGA. Wemby had 12. 8 for Steph Castle. I mean, just 8. Alex Caruso had 8 free throws, Donnie.
They just, like I said, they were trying to keep it consistent. They were giving everybody, you want a free throw, you could have it.
Oprah style, just handing them out.
That's the only way you get to 70, right? That's the only way.
That's crazy. 70 free throws. My God. Yeah. What a game. What a game. Was this a game where the officials made it too much about themselves?
I think that's the immediate takeaway. If there's so many of those, I don't know if it was one of those situations where it started physical and they were just trying to get it under control. Sometimes that happens and it leans the other way and they start calling a bunch of fouls and that pisses everybody off, including the viewers. I don't know if that was exactly what happened here, but if there's that many, then yeah, the refs absolutely were controlling this game. And I'm not equating that to rigged. I'm just saying that meant that they had complete carte blanche to call whatever, and they were trying to leverage that in this game.
It's not to say like that's why the Thunder won or anything.
Yeah, that's not my point.
You want to go to why the Thunder won? It's right here. The Spurs were 12 of 41 from 3. The Thunder were 14 of 32. The Thunder were +2 and made made 3-pointers despite shooting 9 less. The Spurs, you can't beat the Thunder when you shoot 29% from 3. You've got to shoot better than that. You look at, I thought this was one of the worst games I've seen from Wemby, or one of the least impactful games I've seen from Wemby in terms of him actually looking like a super duper unstoppable, oh my God, this guy's going to take over the NBA. He didn't look like any of that tonight. 4 of 15 shooting. I saw people on X talking about, could it be fatigue? Like he was averaging 29 minutes a game throughout the regular season. Then that went way up during the playoffs. Is that catching up to him? 4 for 15 shooting. He even just blew a lob. Like he doesn't even have to jump to finish a lob.
Yeah.
And he couldn't finish that. 0 of 5 from 3. 3 blocks, 2 steals. Okay, but this was, Wemby was not dominant, and so the Spurs were not winning.
4 for 15 shooting, 0 for 5 from 3, 6 rebounds. He kind of drives me crazy. Sometimes it works out in his favor, which is probably why he does that. But he kind of drives me crazy when he starts tipping the ball around, because he's the only guy that he expects to be able to get it because he's so damn big and his reach is so he's able to get to these balls. But like, just damn ball, dude. Like, stop tipping it around. One thing that is evident with Wemby, firstly, he's 22, so like I'm not really worried about anything. This was obviously not a great game for him. They kept him in check, but one thing that's evident with him is that he is, and we've said this before, he's too comfortable floating on the perimeter. And you don't leverage your size when you do that the way that he does. And sometimes he can hit those threes. Tonight they were off. That would have been a huge swing factor if he even went something like that. He's too comfortable floating out there on the perimeter, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that he has to play under the basket or get his butt in the post or anything like that, but I think they have to be more creative. I was looking at his play type data for the regular season, and he's got one of the most versatile charts you're going to see. I mean, 37% of that stuff was isolation and spot ups, and some transition in there, pick and pops, handoff, and just a whole bunch. He's got everything in there. So he should profile as a guy that is going to be one of the most versatile players in NBA history, as you'd imagine. But the polish isn't there in terms of offense. And I think that for him, he's still very largely dependent on getting set up by these guards. And if they're not setting him up or running action with him, then he can kind of float and drift. We saw tonight, I think. I don't know why there's not more of a focus on playing forcefully through Wemby, like getting the ball in the high post, run action off of that, initiate more pick and roll. Shoot, he could be the ball handler in the pick and roll. That's something he does sometimes too. They don't involve him enough to my liking, and sometimes he also isn't aggressive enough. And that's to the situation you're in tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I think Wemby, when we look going into Game 6 now, which is coming up on Thursday, and I mean, this could very well still wind up being a 7-game series. You know, San Antonio going back home has to win Game 6, and then we can get to a Game 7. But Wemby's got to be, for San Antonio to have a shot, he's got to be a lot better than this. And maybe his legs are gassed. Maybe that's where we're at. But if Wemby's legs are gassed and he's done, then that's it. The series is over. If that's where it is, the series is over. If Wemby can't be a super, the Spurs are a good team. They're not an NBA Finals team unless Wemby is Wemby. Wemby being himself is what takes them into being a potential NBA Finals team. If he is just okay, the Thunder have way too much depth. The Thunder have way too many guys.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter that they're missing Jalen Williams, that they're missing AJ Mitchell. They've got too much. That's not Wemby to be able to go. The Spurs don't have enough. That's not Wemby to be able to make it to the finals if he's just good, if he's not great.
And I also thought that there were stretches there, and you could very clearly see that his explosiveness, his burst is gone. But there were stretches I thought Fox was selling. Like, they needed to get Fox off the court. I thought he was very bad out there. But again, he's dealing with a high ankle sprain. Probably shouldn't even really be playing right now. But Fox is supposed to be, and he is one of those guys that when he's healthy is one of the fastest guys end-to-end in the NBA. That's not there right now. Like, he doesn't have it, and he was making boneheaded turnovers. And like, I thought, like I said, he was very bad out there tonight.
It's a thing. When you have a high ankle sprain, what it robs you of, and people get frustrated when a guy comes back, but this is very common with a high ankle sprain. When you come back, you don't have the same burst. It takes a little while to get the burst will come back. It just takes time. And so what you see is for weeks, maybe a month, a guy coming back from a high ankle sprain doesn't look right. So this is not a surprise at all with De'Aaron Fox that he doesn't look like he has as much burst. But you're absolutely right. I mean, look, add it up, right? Wemby, Fox, and Devin Vassell combined.
Brutal.
2 for 18 from 3. Combined 2 for 18.
Yeah, 10 for 36 from the field. From 3 players that are starting. That's just 2 of your best players, your best 2 players probably. Like, you just can't do that. You know, like that's brutal. You can't overcome that against the Thunder, regardless of what you feel about the free throw shooting, because I know that's a big talking point. And as it always is with OKC, like, that is really where the game is lost right there, is these guys not being able to make their shots.
And there were some bad play. There was in the third quarter, there was the infamous goaltending that was not called.
Yeah,
I mean, that was awful. No. There was no excuse whatsoever for the officials to miss that. The very clear goaltend on OKC should have been 2 points for San Antonio. Then they come down the other way. Defensively, the ball goes off of, I think it was Holmgren, and they ruled it off of the Spurs. The Spurs go to challenge. They didn't give him a challenge. Mitch Johnson picks up a tech. It was like a minute and a half.
3 free throws.
Yeah, it just boom, boom, boom. I mean, just ref inflicted body blow on the San Antonio Spurs, one after another, just obvious and very clear officiating malpractice that all of them negatively impacted the Spurs. Even
Absolutely.
with that, though, I can't look at this and say the referees are why the Spurs lost. It didn't help. They did not help. That's for sure. But that's not when they shoot as poorly as they did. I can't look at this and say the refs were why the Spurs lost this game.
The only rebuttal is, and this is one that's commonly out there, so I know you know where I'm going with this, is did those kill momentum, mess with the flow of the game?
Yeah.
Like that's typically what you hear back is if you say that wasn't why a team lost, right? That and we just don't know. Maybe, maybe not, but I would lean on what I do know, which is like we talked about, those guys were like 10 for 36. You just can't have that. That I think is the most impactful thing on that entire list. And then if you look at the other side, as you have here, the Thunder got some great shot making out there. I mean, Caruso, another 20-point game in this series. It's back. I mean, they went to Kenrich Williams, a guy they don't really go to very often. Like they're role players in this game. Were able to, I thought it was pretty important for the Thunder where they started the fourth quarter for 3.5 to 4 minutes and were able to hold firm / put points on the board. And Wemby was on the court, Shea was not. And so Shea comes back in for the final stretch there, and they win the game in that stretch. That is a tremendous luxury to be able to do that. They were not able to close the gap with their best player because Wemby was having a bad game, but they were able to hold him at arm's distance and close the game out with the other team.
De'Aaron Fox made our prize picks thing not hit, huh?
Did he? What did we pick? Did we pick De'Aaron?
I think we did. We had De'Aaron Fox. We had Steph Castle. Steph Castle was the easy one. And then we had and then did we go Chet?
No, I stayed away from Chet.
I think I went Chet. Oh, maybe it was on Collective that I went with Chet.
Okay.
And so we hit on that one.
Can we talk about Hartenstein, by the way? Like Hartenstein's been really good in this series.
15 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block.
Second in plus minus on this team too, plus 24.
Look, game 1 of the series, he looked unplayable.
Absolutely. We talked about
now he looks very playable. Yeah. He's getting the job done physically.
There's stretches where they got him out there and they're like, the minutes are equal, but they've been more comfortable trying to match his minutes with Wemby than with Chet. Chet kind of just comes in those other minutes and they let Chet kind of do his thing. But Hartenstein is much more noticeable. And Hartenstein was also feeling really good out there, man. He was throwing those highlight passes and stuff. He had that one where he kicked it to Caruso in the corner. I was like, oh my God, if he makes this. Caruso did not make it, but if he made that, that would have been a demoralizing ass shot, man. But Hartenstein's been really good. The physicality he plays with, they've felt more comfortable in these last few games putting him out there with Wemby. And that teardrop, he's got to be shooting like 75% on it because every time that he puts it up, it goes. And it's neutralizing Wemby's impact, right? So
he's been fantastic. And when you look at what OKC has to decide this offseason, I lean into if they have to pick between Hartenstein and Dort, they're going to pick Hartenstein. And they're going to decline his team option, but they're going to try to sign him to a new deal, a new long-term deal, just at less money than $28.5 million.
Yeah, I agree. I think they need to do that. Like they've got good bigs on the team, but they don't have a lot of them. They've only got a few that they really lean on.
OKC hate watch unsuccessful tonight. First of all, we appreciate the super chat, MJ. Yeah, that's true. It was unsuccessful if you were hoping to see the Thunder lose. So what do you this? Man. I was talking about with my wife because here's the deal, Donnie. I'm booked to do NBA TV this weekend. If there's a game 7.
No, this is a 6-game series, I think.
If there's a game 7, if there's not a game 7, then there's not a game for me to cover.
Yeah.
So am I working this weekend? My wife is trying to figure out, and I said, you know what? This is probably the result you would need though to get to a game 7.
Yeah.
Right. Like if the Spurs win, they have a chance to close it out at home. Do you think the Spurs win game 6 and we go to game 7?
I mean, I don't doubt that that's possible. I just think that it looks like the Thunder need to wrap this up because the Knicks are waiting. They're banged up. They can't go to 7. They need this to end. So I think they're going to come out and try to, as they should, up 3-2 with a chance to go to the finals, come out and do everything they need to. And if we have free throw shooting like this game, I think that would favor the Thunder just ever so slightly, as you see by the numbers. And if their 3-point shooting is there again, I think that my point is, long story short, there's less variance with OKC than there is, I think, with San Antonio. San Antonio kind of needs more things to go right their way. So I would say I think this is probably in 6, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Think the Thunder take it?
Yeah, I think they're going to try to.
By the way, the early odds are out. It is San Antonio minus 2.5.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's not a lot for a team that has home court.
They're at home.
They're at home.
Yeah. We'll see how they look.
That's basically the equivalent of like Vegas saying it's a coin flip.
Yeah, because it is. I'm just saying that I think that they're going to leverage their experience, with the opportunity to go back to the NBA Finals, and that's going to matter. Like, I think that's been something that's quietly mattered here. A guy like Caruso, and yeah, he's shooting lights out in this series, even with a bad game last game. But these are veteran guys. We have a team here that won a championship. And you have guys on the other end that haven't ever been in this situation. Even some of their older players like Fox have literally never been in this situation. I don't know that Fox has been in the playoffs besides this year, aside from just being in the play-in, right? Anyway, I think that matters. And then we've seen it rear its ugly head multiple times throughout the series, whether that was Steph Castle the first couple games, averaging 10 turnovers a game or just different things. And then now also the ball handlers are banged up. We haven't talked about Harper. He's been pretty pedestrian since Fox came back. Like, it's just, I think there's a lot kind of working against some of their guys on this team. That doesn't mean they can't win. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised, but I think I would bet that OKC's, going to come out and put it away.
5 points, 3 assists, 3 turnovers for Dylan Harper in 25 minutes is pretty rough on 1 of 5 shooting. But again, you expect there to be a degree of inconsistency with a rookie. But
he's also hurt, right?
He's also hurt. That's right. So you add that to it. That's kind of rough. This comment said, wanted to remain neutral, but OKC makes it hard. Yeah, Donnie, I've said that I don't care who wins this series. I don't care. Like, the Celtics got bounced from there. If it's not the Lakers, I'm not worried about who ultimately wins it. I'm not going to lose sleep if it's the Thunder, the Spurs, the Knicks, if it had been the Cavs, whoever. Analytically, apparently the Cavs are going to the finals, according to Kenny Atkinson. Analytically, they were the better team. They were the better team, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, but I gotta say this. I totally forgot about the Golden State series. I was thinking that was just a play-in game, but yeah, that was the series where Draymond did the whole boom launch off of Sabonis. Oh. Wasn't that series like what was that series? I thought that was a good series. I got to go back and look at it. Anyway, shoot me. I forgot about one round of experience. My bad. But I remember that being a good series, so I got to throw that out there.
Do you find yourself when you're watching these games rooting against the Thunder? Like, do you find yourself rooting more for the Spurs or more for the Thunder?
Personally, I actually want to see Wemby be as successful as possible because he's so intriguing. Like, we've never seen a guy like that. So I'm personally leaning more that way, but I'm not really upset either way personally. Like, I just want to see Wemby win. that's it. Like, I want to see Wemby be successful.
Do you think when you're watching these games, is it stylistically, do you see what's happening and think, man, this team is the team. This team is playing more ethical basketball. I guess what I'm getting at is, are OKC really the heels in this series?
I mean, they're the heels of the world right now because everybody but that fan base. Like, we saw it in the Lakers series where like the entire basketball world united to say we don't like the Thunder, except for the Thunder fans, as expected.
I'll tell you what, that is a very interesting is the word I'm going to use, fan base. I can't quite put my finger on what it is. That is a interesting fan base. Thunder fans. It's a weird, like, you could kind of nail down like Warriors fans, for example. You can just tell there's not a lot of depth there in terms of like, it's not like they've been fans for decades.
No, I thought you were calling them stupid.
No, I'm not calling stupid. I'm saying like there's not decades of experience there. When I talk about depth of experience, I'm not saying they're stupid. I'm saying there's not like this decades of. There are a lot of fans who like started watching basketball in 2015 or something like that, and so you'd get a lot of their references are from that era, and it doesn't go much past that. There's certain fan bases where you can kind of tell what it is. Like you go Boston, there's going to be a certain element of the East Coast. It's almost like you can hear their accent even when they're typing, when you're listening to like Boston fans and stuff, right? There's certain things like that. Orlando fans just perpetually believe that their team is going to find a way to blow it, and they're typically right. Thunder fans, they're a very loud group. They're an interesting group because they kind of stole their team, right? But they very much believe everybody else is wrong about their team, and everybody else is only complaining because their team is good, and that everything that is lobbed at their team in a negative way is incorrect, and the entire world is wrong, and their team does not do anything underhanded.
I feel like it's hard to generalize because I feel like that exists in every fan base. I feel like you could find those people in every fan base that are.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, or especially if the fan base is big enough, you can find. And stand-em, yeah.
I feel like that exists. But yes, you're probably right. I've seen situations where I'm like, that's a dirty play, and they're like, no, it's not. Did you see XYZ?
I love that. I love the but what abouts. And I know it doesn't even have to be a Thunder thing, right? It can be whoever. It can be any team. And it's, but what about this? This guy did this to it. Dude, a dirty play is a dirty play.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, he very clearly just flopped. Like there was nobody touched him. He clearly, no, that's not a flop. What?
A Lakers fan calling out floppers. I don't want the Lakers to do it either. Get them off the game, please.
That's how it goes. Every time you do a video, it's always because you always do these without me. It's always funny because I always see the comments that are like, this is coming from a Lakers fan, by the way, XYZ. And it's like, oh, well, I guess that means you can't really be subjective just because you're a fan of a certain team. So.
Right.
Because like if I was a fan of OKC, this would be my response if somebody told me that personally. I'm just me. I would say, yeah, that was a flop and he got away with it. That's what I say when I watch Luka flop or Austin flop or whoever flop. He got away with it,
The NBA needs to take care of it. Like I said, retroactive fines for flopping. Why did we go away from this? Why is this not a thing anymore? Yeah. Like and it makes the referees look bad when they don't call it live because nothing's coming later. It's hard to call these things in real time.
Yeah.
I don't fault the referees. I fault the referees enough on a lot of other stuff, but it's hard to call these things in real time. Retroactively, though, we can see when guys are making a mockery of the game, and I don't care if it's a Laker, I don't care if it's a Celtic, I don't care if it's a damn Sacramento King, doesn't matter. If you're flopping, you're flopping. Call them, fine them. Let's get this out of the game.
Yeah. And so like, I don't know. I just, like I said, I feel like you can find that in a lot of places. Maybe again, we notice it more with certain fan bases. To answer your initial question though, I have seen the sentiment out there that, and this is not my sentiment, I've seen the sentiment that people don't want to see this team advance because it's not good for the game. Because the perception of them with all the flopping and stuff. Like I said in the beginning, I am pretty neutral to this. I just enjoy watching basketball, generally speaking. Does it get a bit much? Yes. But I'm not personally holding that against anybody. That they're not the ones calling these calls for themselves. And they're just exploiting the things that are, if they're doing anything, frankly, we just mentioned they're doing things everybody else is doing too, but they're exploiting the game. So fix the game first.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. That's exactly the way I see it. Just fix the game first.
Demetrius said Fox definitely hurt them, but definitely see Chris Paul impact on Wemby, Dort, and Shea.
Yeah, he was in both of those locations right before they started winning. Remember, he was on OKC in the bubble.
So it's CP3.
Yeah, he's the common denominator.
He's hanging out.
Yeah, just like Harden is the common denominator with getting eliminated before making the finals.
Oh. But isn't that weird? The stats behind Harden, They were a the Cavs were a minus 13 in the postseason with Donovan Mitchell on, who is widely regarded as one of the very best in the NBA. Donovan Mitchell on and James Harden off. And Harden is seen as this playoff faller. Mm-hmm. He's terrible in the playoffs. And Donovan Mitchell, with him on the floor and James Harden off, was a minus 13 per 100. What is going on?
It's because Donovan's better at getting a bucket than Harden is in the playoffs. So at the end of it all, you can say Harden, here's his box score. He had 12 points on 5 or something or whatever, some terrible box. And Mitchell's got 25 points. He's got 30 points. There you go. But does that tell the whole story? No. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that reputation, it precedes Harden. He deserves it, right? He gets it. Sure. But I don't think Mitchell should be exempt from that either. I don't think he's some great performer of late. There were some stretches earlier in his career where he was really good, but he has this kind of tendency to try to go hero ball and gets other people out of it. He starts chucking shots, and maybe they'll go. He's a great shot maker, but I don't know that that's conducive to winning. So,
let's go here. Wemby sucks. Trade him to the Lakers for Jake and Connect.
Yeah, he's terrible, bro.
Awful.
I've never seen a guy that bad before. Just so uncoordinated. I think Shaq was onto something when he said Bol is everything Wemby is a few years ago.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, just, move on. Yeah. Cut your losses, San Antonio.
Build around Castle and Harper. You're still going to be right back here next year. You got this.
Let's go here. Analytically, Daryl Morey was correct. Sell high for McCain and getting him fired, and OKC getting closer to the finals. Knicks in 7. So, yeah, does Daryl Morey now accept the job in OKC?
Was that the play all along?
He should.
I mean, technically, he did sell high, right? It's just not.
Are you saying he was high when he sold?
Well, probably. I mean, this wasn't McCain though at the time, so I guess that's maybe the logic here. But he looks terrible in hindsight. He looks terrible. And the funny thing is McCain's not even shooting all that well, but he is making some highlight plays. Like that one where he came down and just pulled up on the baseline. I was like, man, he's feeling good tonight, isn't he? Just the ability to take and make those tough shots has been impactful because you need those guys in the postseason. But yeah, that looks terrible. My point was, I guess what I would consider selling high would be getting more extracted from OKC than 1 first and 2 seconds. Maybe if he got 3 firsts, I'd feel better about it, I don't know that he's worth all that, but OKC's got so many you could ask for it.
For a guy that was in the running for Rookie of the Year, for a guy that had this time, for a guy that just got plugged in to a pivotal game 5, for a chance to go to the NBA Finals and drop 20 points.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough.
2 times, right? And didn't he have 20 in a couple games ago? But remember with McCain, though, again, he was not this earlier. I mean, he was going in and out of the G League. He was not in the rotation. I think that's kind of the logic here. I think again, just to make this very clear, I think Morey looks terrible, and he was an idiot for making this trade. But it's also easy to say that with hindsight being 2020 and all. But
sure.
That, I guess at the time was defensible. But yeah, this doesn't look good considering that he just needed time to get right. Because like you said, he was the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year.
He just never really should have said sell high.
Yeah, if he didn't say that probably would have gone over better if he didn't say that. He, like I told you, I don't know if we were off camera when I said this, but he probably was getting attacked and felt some kind of way about it. So he got up there on that podium and was feeling all defensive and was like, "Oh yeah, we sold high." All defensive about it. But yeah, it doesn't look good.
If Jalen Williams and AJ Mitchell are out, we don't see them again. Knicks in 7, is that happening? Are the Thunder vulnerable, or do the Thunder, assuming the Thunder get through, they have now 2 chances to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals. If the Thunder are vulnerable here, and they do get through, do the Knicks have a real shot in this thing based on what you saw tonight?
Yeah, I actually do think they have a good shot. The Knicks are playing some of the best basketball we've ever seen in the postseason, which is interesting.
The Knicks are playing closer to their peak. I think the Thunder's peak is higher than anybody else's peak.
Yeah, but they're banged up.
The Knicks are playing the closest to their peak as a team, though, which may be higher than what the Thunder are doing right now.
Yeah, if both teams are healthy, I wouldn't say they have much of a chance. But they're banged up, and the Knicks are playing better than what I would think is their peak. Frankly, they're playing great basketball. I think they're playing above their heads.
Is there any part of you
only lose 2 postseason games by 2 total points? It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
That's insane, right?
They're
but how much of that is?
man.
Think about it though. The Knicks have also gotten so they lose 2 games by 2 points combined to Atlanta.
Ridiculous.
Then they get a team in Philly coming off of an emotional 7-game grueling series. Then they get a team in Cleveland coming off an emotional grueling 7-game series. So the next 2 rounds, you've got to beat up on the battered and exhausted opponent coming in from the other.
And you'll get to do that again next round too.
And they could do that again next round. So is it that are the Knicks really that good? Are their opponents that tired, that weakened?
Maybe
how
a little bit of
how do you
both.
judge that?
Maybe a little bit of both. I mean, we talked about this in a video recently. A little bit of both. But you only can play who's in front of you, right? All I know is that if they get into a series and these are tight games, I like Jalen Brunson. I like the Knicks and their chances to come out on top in the clutch or to win these games. I think they've got quality depth. I think that Mike Brown has done a tremendous job coaching this team in the postseason. And I think that they have great cohesiveness as well. I do wonder about, and again, just to make this clear, I do think that the Thunder would win that series. I'm just making the argument for the Knicks. But I do wonder about, again, how banged up their next initiators are, because is McCain going to be this every game? Is Caruso going to continue to shoot blistering? Like Caruso has flames coming off his body. Is he going to keep doing this? Because I think that matters as well. So far, they've been able to skate by in this postseason with Shea having subpar field lines. Will they be able to continue doing that? Or will he have to actually be a, 12 for 20 a night guy, from the field? Will he continue to get 17 free throws? Like, I think there are things that matter. But similarly, on the other end, I do wonder about Brunson. Can he continue that with Case and Wallace, Caruso, some of these guys hounding him all game?
Yeah,
I have things I'm worried about from that end too. And that's why I think that I would lean Thunder. But I do. You asked me if they have a chance. I think they have a chance.
I do agree. I think if the Thunder's defense takes out Jalen Brunson or diminishes Jalen Brunson, which I think is exactly what the Thunder's defense will do, then the Knicks have big problems. If the Knicks defense diminishes SGA, the Thunder have shown they can get past that.
Yeah.
That's the issue that I have with that series. But, and again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're not there to that series yet. Here, let's go here to an off-season comment. If the Spurs lose, I see them going after Rui in free agency. Rui with his threes helps them a lot. Yeah, I think, Donnie, in terms of Rui Hachimura, I think the Lakers would be wise, if it fits in with their cap space plan, to offer him a little bit more than the mid-level exception to not even hit free agency. He's extension eligible already all the way through June 30th. I would be trying to get him to sign an extension before June 30th, because I think there will be not just the Spurs. I do agree with the Spurs being a team that would do it. I think there will be multiple teams that would be more than happy to give him their full mid-level exception. So if I'm the Lakers and I want to keep him, I'm offering slightly more, call it $17 million. Which is the MLE is going to be about $15 million. Offer him $17 million starting and say, but you need to sign an extension, and we're not touching free agency. You're going to sign the extension before free agency begins. Isn't
that his exact contract now?
He's at 18 this year, but I would do, hey, we're going to give you a few years, and that's the way we're going to go about this.
Again, so you're just basically re-signing him to the same contract you signed him to last time. Pretty much.
Yep.
I mean, a guy that shoots, I understand the regular season woes with Rui. His Space Cadet Rui shows up and all this stuff. But a guy that performs the way he does in the postseason, shoots the hell out of the ball the way he does, so reliable out there.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wonder if a team doesn't come out and offer more than that potentially, or try to offer more.
Okay, so Chicago or Brooklyn is going to offer him more?
I mean, I mostly meant because we're talking about San Antonio. Maybe they try to figure out something like a sign-in trade to get Rui a bit more money. I don't
Yeah,
know.
have to do a sign and trade, and then you're getting something back, I guess.
That'd
But
be
yeah,
nice.
for anybody else, unless it's like Detroit has some ways they can get there, Atlanta
Yeah.
has some ways but it's tricky for them to do it. But
Mhm.
otherwise, yeah, if it's not Chicago or Brooklyn, nobody else can get above a mid-level for him, unless you're right, unless it's a sign and trade.
And then do the Lakers have to get him off the market so quickly? Do they have to give him 20 million? Do they have to just bump him up a bit? Because you're basically giving him the same contract. Like I don't necessarily want to bump Rui to 20, but he's proven that he can be a good player in the NBA playoffs.
Right.
He's a riser, man. You can't let those guys go. And also, if you're the Lakers, you don't want to lose your depth, your best shooter, like all this stuff, right? And he'd be awesome in San Antonio.
It's so tough in today's NBA with how much contracts matter. And this is not a Lakers specific thing. This is every team. You essentially have to root against your own players getting paid. Like it's a huge difference, right? You have to root against your guys getting big contracts because it makes such a difference in terms of your flexibility and your trade options, frankly. Like I'm not saying that you should sign a player with an eye towards trading him, but you look at what's going on around the league right now. If a player even looks like they might not return value on their contract, anything close to it, and teams they're toxic, they're nuclear. Teams want nothing to do with those players. Mm-hmm. And so trying to have flexibility and be able to move on from players, like you can say, oh, we go from 17 million to 20 million. It's not that big of a jump. That kind of stuff matters a ton.
Yeah, it matters.
It matters.
It just goes to show you how much the postseason matters. Because I saw a comment fly by that said we were talking about prior to that him getting 15 million. Yeah, we were hoping Rui would want to take less, but the postseason matters so much that you kind of got to pay these guys. And I think that mattered a lot for everybody. It may matter for Austin's number as well. Good
Absolutely.
or bad. Like I think the showing in the postseason matters, and Rui deserves a raise. He was one of the best performers in the playoffs for them. So I don't know.
He's been very consistent in the playoffs, and consistent over 3 seasons, better than 50% for the field, better than 40% from three for 3 straight seasons. Him and Kevin Durant, the only ones who have done that. So
best shooter in the postseason, period.
Yeah, the best all time NBA history, best 3-point shooter, which is crazy, but it's true. That's where Rui is at. So I'm not saying he didn't deserve that money, but realistically, for the Lakers or any other team, he's coming off the bench, right?
Yeah.
For the Lakers especially, but I suppose there could be teams with a build where he could start.
He may start if LeBron's not here, but yeah, otherwise he should be coming off the bench for the Lakers. And it's funny we talk about that because you could argue that means LeBron should take a good amount of money too for the exact same reasons.
Uh-huh.
You could argue that.
But then you're right back to saying you're bringing back the team.
The Lakers just can't do it, unfortunately. But yeah, he generally would be coming off the bench, probably as a 6-man. Like for San Antonio, he may start in San Antonio. Just depends on what they want to do. But he probably would be their 6-man. And at that point, you'd have him and Keldon Johnson coming off the bench. That'd be a pretty good 1-2 punch off the bench, I think.
Mm-hmm. Saying instead of rooting against players for getting paid, you got to root for GMs to sign good deals. Well, players need to accept below market value deals in order for GMs to sign good deals, right? It's a 2-way street there.
Yeah.
Those two things go hand in hand. When do off-season trades start? They can start right now. Could happen today. Not typical. Usually it's once the season ends. And frankly, the NBA, like let's say it's game 1 of the finals and the Lakers traded Luka for Jaylen Brown or something, right? Something that would just break everyone's minds, right? Mm-hmm. The NBA would be pretty upset, would be pretty angry at the timing of something like that. They don't want eyes off of the finals, right? So typically you see the activity take place. It ramps up as we get closer to the draft, which is June 23rd. But by rule, there's nothing that's stopping it from happening right now. If there was a deal, Giannis Antetokounmpo could get traded 5 minutes from now, right? There's nothing stopping that technically from happening. Just the NBA tends to prefer that if there's going to be something significant going on, that it happens after the playoffs are over, after the finals are over, or at least between days, something along those lines. So you're not taking away from that spotlight.
I'll tell you, if I'm a team trading for Giannis and that's on the table, I am not waiting until the NBA would prefer. I'm getting that done now.
Oh yeah, if the Bucks called me up, if I'm Miami and the Bucks say, okay, we'll take Tyler Hero and Kelly Ware, and Jaime Jaquez, but we're going to do it June 17th when the finals are over. No, we're calling it in right now. It can be the middle of the fourth quarter, tie game, OKC San Antonio, game 7. We're calling this in right now. Shams, get Shams on the phone. Let's break this right now. I don't care about your game 7. If I'm Miami, I'm 100% doing that.
The last thing I need is for you to get time to sit there and think about it and be like, actually, we found a better offer. So, I'm calling that shit in right then and there.
That's funny. I mean, it's like I keep going back to the Mavs telling the Lakers, like, hey, listen, we want to keep this Luka thing real quiet, right? Like, how much convincing did they have to do? Was Rob Pelinka like trying not to laugh in that moment? Like, yeah, okay, well, no problem. We'll keep it quiet. We have no problem doing that.
That's great for me.
Listen, don't talk to anybody.
That's great for me if you want to keep this quiet until we figure all the details. That's perfect. Could you imagine if that had got out? How many people would have been calling to try to get Luka? Oh my God!
The American Airlines Center would have been stormed by Mavs fans.
Oh, that too.
They would have stormed the gates.
That's why that had to be done the way it was done.
Yeah, they would have. I mean, they would have stopped it. And Julia said, "Did y'all see the Cleveland ESPN radio host that had a guest claim? Charles Oakley told the guest LeBron is 95% likely to go back to Cleveland."
Yeah, I did.
So somebody said they talked to Charles. This is like the Ferris Bueller thing. Like your friend's sister's brother's cousin saw Ferris pass out at Baskin Robbins or something.
Charles Oakley talked to Maverick Carter. And afterwards, Charles Oakley told, I believe, someone that owns a bakery or works at a bakery. And then from there, that got into ESPN.
God, I love the NBA offseason. Can we track planes again?
That was quite a time.
Those are fun.
That was quite a time.
So someone in is that really what it is? Someone in a bakery talked to Charles Oakley, who talked to somebody who said LeBron is coming. Like, are we back at a point where like a kid is waiting outside of a hotel?
Something like, I don't know if they said LeBron is coming, but there was something along those lines. I got to pull it up. I saw it during the game.
I could see LeBron going back to Cleveland. The question is how, because there are multiple paths here. Path 1 would be LeBron takes the veteran minimum. And if that's the case, doesn't matter anything else that happens. He can take veteran minimum. Roster can stay as is, no worries. Assuming he doesn't want to do that, he could take the taxpayer mid-level. James Harden could take enough less on his next deal for LeBron to join the Cavs on the taxpayer mid-level. Okay, could get there. The third option would be he takes a full mid-level. That would be about $15 million. Does LeBron want to play for $15 million? To do that, James Harden's got to take a lot less. Plus, you got to make moves to clear salary, like Max Strus goodbye, Dennis Schroeder goodbye, stuff like that, right? And even then, does LeBron want to play for $15 million? Anything more than that, if LeBron wants more than that, the only path to get there is a sign and trade with the Lakers. Unless the Cavs have something that we just don't foresee. James Harden is waived and they're going to trade Strus and Schroeder and suddenly have some cap space. That type of unforeseen situation playing out in Cleveland. So I guess that's the question. I could see LeBron going back to Cleveland. I could see that being a real option for him. The question is how. It's not like the Cavs are sitting on a bunch of cap space. So the method by which that happens is what gives me doubt that it's going to happen. But where there's a will, there's a way. I could see a reason why LeBron would want to do that. Just the question is, how do they execute it?
Yeah. If they have to get a sign and trade done and they have to get off of a few players to make room for that to happen,
Mhm.
to get under the first apron. How much better is that team?
Depends on who they're trading.
Yeah.
But
I would have to
keep in
imagine that.
mind, a sign and trade also triggers a hard cap at the first apron if they accept the
Yeah.
player via sign and trade. So that, like, let's say it's like if it's Jared Allen, that's the name we've heard a bunch, right? If it's Jared Allen, fine. I could see why the Lakers would say yes to that. I could see why the Cavs would say yes to that.
That's a
But then
long
the Cavs got to go find a center, and they're going to be hard capped at the first apron.
Yeah. He's got $100 million left in the books. That's interesting. I didn't realize it was that long. And don't the Cavs have to also dip below the first, below that apron anyway, in order to execute that trade? Like at the time LeBron comes in, they need to be below the first apron, right?
Right. So, like, let's say James Harden takes 30 million instead of 43, right? He signs a new deal, 30 million. That would drop you down right at the first apron. And then you trade Jarrett out. Let's say LeBron gets 30, Jarrett Allen, and I don't know, Sam Merrill, Max Drew, something like that, right? So you save a little bit of money off the books, and then boom, there you go. Post trade, you'd be below the first apron.
Strus matters a lot. That's 17 million right there. That's a good contract to move off of.
Yeah, no, I mean, it may not be Strus, so just
yeah. Hypothetical.
Just doing the math.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess you could technically do that. I mean, speaking of playoff earnings, how much money did James Harden cost himself in this postseason?
It depends. Like, how much do the Cavs just say we want to move forward with James Harden on our team? I do think he's going to have to take less. And I think he understands that. He's going to trade average annual value for years.
He was always going to do that, though. But he was probably going to try to remain around the 40 million. He may be a guy that's got to take 230.
Yeah.
Based on his performance. Like, if I'm the Cavs, I'm saying.
You think he's going to take 15 million a ye
1 No.
Or 2 years, 30 year per year.
My bad.
260. Okay, yeah.
If I'm the Cavs, I'm saying I'm not giving you $1 over 30. That's about as far as I'm going.
That's about right.
He probably cost himself a good bit because I thought he was probably trying to angle around 40.
And if I'm James Harden, I'm saying make it 3 in the third year player option.
Okay, 390.
And that's where you're negotiating and going back and forth.
Yeah, 390. I don't know if I want to offer a 40-year-old James Harden $30 million player option.
I wouldn't either. I'm just saying that's what I'm asking for if I'm James.
Yeah.
If I'm James, I'm through my beard, I'm asking for that. Trevor, why are you acting like teams don't move money when they really want a player? This is the NBA. They do it all. So you do know it's the NBA. They do it all the time. The Cavs can make it happen if they want.
We just said that. We were just quite literally just talking about that.
I would buy it more if you said this is the NFL. Yeah, the NFL, crazy shit with the cap happens, and this guy's gonna not defer salary. This guy's going to restructure his contract, or this is gonna happen. Or MLB, where it's like, yeah, this guy's gonna defer his salary for 10 years. We're gonna pay him $11 billion 10 years from now, or whatever, right? NBA, there's certain rules that you have to follow. That's what we're explaining, is you have to go through certain steps in order to make something happen. So logistically, how do you, it's not like, they can do it if they want, they'll just find a way. No, there's certain things that they would have to do in order to make that happen. It's not impossible, but there are certain things. That's what we're talking about. There's certain things that they would have to do in order to create a situation where they could afford someone like LeBron.
We quite literally explained how they could get LeBron. Like, that was the whole exercise. I don't understand.
But people hear what they want to hear.
Okay.
That's why I always say, don't hear what I'm not saying.
Okay.
People hear what they want to hear.
Okay.
And so unless you're saying, LeBron to the Cavs, done. It's, why do you think he's not going to the Cavs? No, I'm saying these are the steps. These are the paths he can take to get there.
Mm-hmm. I guess.
That's the way it goes.
You're not getting Jared Allen for LeBron. That's ridiculous. The new comment that just came in.
Okay, then what are you getting?
Yeah,
who are you trading that would then drop you far enough below the first apron?
Yeah.
If you told me the Cavs were as is, like 10 million below the first apron, yeah, I'd say they could just do whatever and find a way to get there. But they're not. They're the most expensive team in the NBA.
Yeah. The only reason that even matters is because of LeBron's contract. If he wants a certain amount of money, it has to just be a sign and trade if he wants to go somewhere else. So
again, yeah, if LeBron says I'll play for a veteran minimum,
exactly,
none of this matters. He can literally sign anywhere in the NBA. None of it matters.
so if he wants like 25 million, you kind of have to match up the so like if he says I want to sign with Cleveland for 25 million, you kind of just take what you can get. Like if it's Jared Allen, it's Jared Allen. Like it just if the Lakers would agree to Strus and Schroeder, for example, then that's what it is. Like it's whatever you can get at that point.
The thing is, no team's fans want to hear that their team has to give up something to get a player. Yeah. Right? Like there's Celtics fans running around right now trying to concoct ways to get Giannis without giving up Jaylen Brown. Right? They're Lakers fans done it for years. How do we get Anthony Davis without giving up Lonzo and Josh Hart and Brandon Ingram? Sometimes you have to give up stuff in order to get players. It's just that's the way that it goes. Now there are examples of that not happening or teams getting a really good deal, but you're not going to get a guy that you want in general without in a trade without having to give up something that may not feel great to give up.
Yeah. The way my mind kind of went on that was the other end of that's not enough. that's where my mind initially
went. Jared Allen is not enough?
That's not what I'm saying, but that's where my mind went. Just with name recognition, it's like that sounds kind of silly. So that's my initial thought process on that. Yeah. But I don't know which way the person was saying it.
Oh, sure. I think it's not. The difference is Jared Allen any like 20 years from now, if anybody said Jared Allen got traded for LeBron James, people would be like, what the hell? What are you talking about? Like Jared Allen is not right. Yeah. But in the context of Jared Allen is a 28-year-old and LeBron's going to be in his age 42. See, that's different, right? Yeah, you're trading Jared Allen's future for what could be the final year of LeBron's career. That's really what we're talking about.
I wanted to highlight this one because I've also felt this way, but I understand it. Weird hearing people talk about LeBron has to take less, but not talking about AR taking less. It's understandable why you would think it's weird when you talk about, again, the name recognition.
If you don't know the way the salary cap works, it's understandable.
Yeah, that as well, right? But also like the age, like he's 42, so
right. Well, yes, and that's why we saw like Kevin Durant just took less. But look, so for the Lakers specifically, they are in a situation, if they operate as a below the cap team, which I think is the assumption, it doesn't matter. Austin's salary doesn't matter for this year. For spending power this year, it doesn't matter. He can get 40 million, he can get 25 million starting. It doesn't matter. Does not change their spending power one bit because they're going to use his cap hold. That's going to be the number. The 21 million. That's the number they're going to be going off of when it comes to their spending power. LeBron, in order to have cap space, they would have to renounce LeBron's rights and use cap space to sign him. So what LeBron gets when it comes to taking less, and that could mean facilitating a trade to another team as well, it will absolutely matter. It's going to directly change their spending power. Now, if you tell me they're going to operate as an above the cap team, then absolutely, I would love Austin Reeves to sign for the veteran minimum. If they're going to operate as an above the cap team when it comes to their spending power this year, Austin signed for 10 million, sign for 5 million, right? Because that will directly impact their spending power this year. Now, again, you want a guy on a positive value contract moving forward as well, but there's a huge difference between the current situation of a player like Reeves, whose cap hold is below his market value, and a player like LeBron, whose cap hold is above what he's actually going to get when we're talking about why would you ask one player to take less and the other player not to. And it has nothing to do with what the player is actually worth. It has to do with functionally what you can do with your salaries. And I understand it's a very complicated thing, the way the NBA salary cap works, but there's a reason why you don't hear people asking as much for Austin Reeves to take less money. It's because it would not directly influence how much spending power, in this case, the Lakers would have this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's look at this. I'm seeing this Jared Allen and LeBron signed and trade rumor online. Does that even work? I don't see the Cavs doing that if LeBron goes back to the Cavs. It does work if the Cavs make some other move, like James Harden takes less on his next deal, I think is expected, and you do some other things. You could free up some space. Yes, it could work. There are ways you could make the cap work on that.
Yeah, just do the who was it? Scoop B that said they're gonna sign and trade James Harden for LeBron. Do that. That's what you do. Could you imagine James Harden and
Is
LeBron?
there a worse fit with Luka than
No,
James
there
Harden?
isn't. That's why I said, could you imagine that? That's gotta be the single worst player you compare with Luca.
My God. If I'm the Lakers, I'd rather have Mobley than Allen in a sign and trade for LeBron. Well, yeah. I'd rather have Giannis. I'd rather have Wemby.
Right? You don't gotta do him like that.
I'm sorry. No, but here's the thing. Like, there's a big gap in value between Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. I think Evan Mobley's the Cavs could talk themselves into, and maybe, maybe they wouldn't, but I'm saying it's more realistic for them to talk themselves into, okay, we'll part with Jared Allen to get LeBron James. I don't see them in any world parting with Evan Mobley to get LeBron James. If they're not willing to part with Evan Mobley to get Giannis, they're not parting with Evan Mobley to get LeBron. That's the difference.
Is Mobley overpaid?
Like he may be. He wasn't great. It wasn't as good as we thought he would be. He hasn't really become the guy that we hoped, but still the Cavs aren't parting with him.
Yeah,
in this type of scenario.
Yeah, and they shouldn't. They should hope that as he enters his prime in a couple years here, he's going to turn into that guy that they're paying $60 million. But yeah, I am kind of curious about that. He did, get a DPOY. I think he was an all-star as well in there somewhere. He's not turned into the offensive player you'd like him to be, though. So I wonder about that, but yeah, they shouldn't trade him, for LeBron if possible. You'd want to, and if LeBron's coming in, he hears about that, he's going to say, yeah, no, I want to play with Mobley.
Right.
Leave Mobley on the team. Why would you do that? Because the thing with LeBron is that if he's coming to this team can't be stripped too much. It still has to be in contention, I'd imagine.
So. Yeah, and that's a fair point too. Like, if you're LeBron and you find out Mobley is going to the Lakers, you'd be like, wait, no. I'm not signing this contract to go play with the Cavs that don't have Evan Mobley. I want Evan Mobley on the team.
Yeah. Probably the same thing about like Donovan Mitchell. Sure. I wonder how he feels about Harden. Wonder how he feels about playing with James Harden for a season.
Trevor's talking about sign and trade because it benefits the Lakers, not because it's the only way for LeBron to get the Cavs. No, we talked about all the different options.
No,
but if you told me LeBron's going to play for a veteran minimum, that he's a Cleveland Cavalier. You told me LeBron wants to take $6 million. Cool. He'll take the taxpayer and the Cavs can get there. You tell me LeBron will play for $15 million. If LeBron wants more than that, then they would have to find another route to get there. And that would be most likely, aside from doing something like just deconstructing a bunch of the roster and shedding a ton of salary, which again isn't expected, then you'd be talking about a sign and trade.
Yeah.
We're talking about the different paths to get there.
I believe I brought up sign and trade, and that was exclusively because of the money. Like, it's not about benefiting anybody.
Yeah. And the same is true of Jose says he's a Warrior. Same is true for Golden State. Same is true for New York, for Miami, for any other team that might have interest in LeBron that's not the Bulls or the Nets. Those are the two teams that have cap space to go sign LeBron outright. Otherwise, there's a world where Detroit could get there, but it depends on what they do with Jalen Duren, depends on what they do with Duncan Robinson, a few other players. There's a world where the Hawks could get there. And those are interesting landing spots, right? But it depends on what they do with CJ McCollum. It depends on what they do with Jonathan Kuminga. That will impact their ability to spend. Most likely, in terms of the teams with cap space, we're talking the Lakers, the Bulls, and the Nets. And if you want more than the mid-level from anybody else, you're talking about negotiating a sign and trade unless there's a team that does something that drastically changes their current cap situation.
Yep. At the super chat, NBA salary cap explanation episode. That's something you get on front office. You probably have one of those on there, don't you?
We do. We do need we do stuff like that sometimes. We'll do deep dives on stuff on front office, but yeah, look, frankly, I like that the NBA salary cap is overly complex.
It's confusing. Yeah.
It's job security, right?
Yeah.
Because most people don't have time to sit down and really dig through all this shit that is in the NBA's salary cap and the way that it all works. It is very, very complicated. There's a lot. Like my cap knowledge, I would rate myself at like I'm probably a 4 out of 5 or an 8 out of 10 on cap. Not like Keith on the front office show with me. He's a 5 out of 5. Like there's legitimately teams and agents and stuff that go to Keith and get ideas on how they should manage things and stuff like that. I'm pretty good with the cap stuff. But it is very, teams pay people specifically to be cap experts. That's how complicated it is. It's not like you can just sit down and know everything. There are so many little ins and outs and so many obscure rules and things like that. It's very, very challenging.
Yeah, it's a mess, man. But like you said, that's why we have people that specialize in it, and that's why they have jobs. I just want to loop it back. I cannot believe we saw 70 free throws tonight. I just can't believe. I just can't believe in a goddamn Western Conference final.
And in a playoff game.
I can't imagine. I can't believe.
I thought they were supposed to let things go in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a Western Conference final game. I'm 2 games away from a final berth for both these teams. What the hell? How do we see 70 free throws?
That was not ideal.
I can't get over that. It's gonna bother me for a while. Like they really were out there calling everything every 3 seconds. I hate when they do that. I had this. I told you this the other day. I hate that we're at a point now where anytime there's a new game, we get the so and so is gonna be the refs tonight. When the hell did we start caring about who the ref is? Well, they make it about them so often. Now we know all the goddamn refs. I hate it.
That we know the refs' names.
Yeah, that we know these refs, and now we know what the outcome will be because X ref is out there supposedly. Oh my god,
man! That was not what the NBA wanted to see. Was a free throw shooting contest in what was Game 5 of the like a pivotal Game 5 of the West Finals was a free throw shooting contest, and that's what we got.
And the crazy thing is, I'm not even exaggerating. They literally shot 70 free throws.
Oh yeah, that's not you making it up. They actually shot 70 free throws.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
That game was a slog. It was a hard game to watch. Unless you're an OKC fan, you probably enjoyed it. But it was a hard game to watch, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, I still say Game 7 of 2010 was the most beautiful, ugly game I've ever seen.
That was a hard game,
right? Like if it's your team, you love it, but if it's not your team watching one of these games, man, that was a rough one. That was a rough. Yeah. I hope, because this series has the potential to be so good. I thought there have been games in this series. Game 1 was awesome in this series. There's so much potential in this. I hope that the remaining games or game, if it's just one game, if OKC finishes off in 6, I hope that we get just an amazing. I want to see Wemby draining insane shots. I want to see SGA showing why he's the MVP. I want to see guys making big plays. I want to see teams trying to one up each other all the way to the buzzer. That's the kind of game I want to see. Not, all right, I'm going to go shoot more free throws right now.
Yeah, that first game was crazy. Then Wemby pulling up from like 35 feet for that shot, man. The second game was pretty good too, but since then it's been kind of bleh. But hey, I mean, if your team's winning, then I can't. Like I said in the beginning, I'm mostly neutral, so it doesn't really matter a ton to me. But hopefully, the next game is a good game. I want to see a tight game. I want to see the Zebras stay out of it. I don't want to see them interject.
I don't want to know who's officiating the game by the end of it.
Oh, right? No. I wouldn't want to know, but I will know because it now goes viral every goddamn time. Tony Brothers is tweeting.
Scott Foster
is officiating.
The extender.
Oh, yeah. When Scott shows up, dude, you know how I was saying it might be a 6-game series. Scott's going to show up, and it's going to be like, oh, shit, this is going 7. Because that's where we're at. We already know what's going to happen.
If he gets assigned to Game 6, people are going to lose their minds.
It's so obvious.
This super chat said, dream off season is Hawks draft Mara and sign Reeves. I don't know if they can get there, Cap. I mean, he'll be a free agent. He can sign wherever he wants. The Lakers could offer him 38 million. The Hawks could offer him 30, and he could take the Hawks offer. He's a Southern boy, right? He could say, I want to go back to the South and want to do something like that in Atlanta. It could happen. That I think he'd be a good fit there. The question is, would you do it? Would you bring back CJ McCollum if the Hawks were to get Reeves, or would you just say Reeves takes over that role?
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be what, 35? You got to get through a regular season. I'll bring them both back, or bring them back as well.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
If Keon said, if AR sign and trade is possible to any team, what star who fits with Luka and Braun would make Braun take less than 15 million? Giannis. Like, who would you get? Who would you get where LeBron would go, oh, damn, I'll do whatever it takes to play on that team?
I think there's a number of guys you could get.
Sure.
But
are
not
those
very
guys
likely guys.
Oh, yeah. But don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying the Bucks would trade Giannis for. I'm saying, what would it take for? I'm looking at the LeBron piece of it. Who would you have to replace Austin with for LeBron to go, oh, I really want to be? I mean, Giannis, Wemby. Like, obviously these aren't realistic at all, but
I mean, I think you could go lower tier than that. Like, does he say that for Donovan Mitchell? Probably.
Maybe.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Like, you could probably go lower tier.
I think Donovan Mitchell is a better player than Austin Reeves. That's not a hot take at all. He may be a worse fit with Luka than Austin is, because I think Austin's the better passer, but you could still wind up with a better team just because Mitchell's the better player.
Somebody Mitchell adjacent, though, is my point.
Sure. Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he does.
Jaylen Brown's an easy.
Absolutely.
Let me throw this out. Jaden McDaniels.
Oh, he's not the star player those guys are.
But I mean, perfect fit, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it would have to be, and it's not like Austin's particularly a star either. He's just a really good player. I think it would have to be a star player if it's not.
The chat says Kyrie.
Kyrie is also a guy that I think he would do it for. He's wanted Kyrie back for years. Remember the "maybe it's me" tweet? he was so disappointed. And the crazy thing with that was he was disappointed that they didn't trade Russ for Kyrie. Russ is on the team.
Oh, Russ. Those were good years.
That is crazy. Didn't he like talk to the media about that too? Like,
he's like, look, nobody could stand this guy. Come on. No, Russ is that guy that teammates all talk about, like they all love him.
Yeah.
They all love him as a teammate. I just don't know if they love playing basketball.
LeBron was great friends with him before they became teammates. I don't know how that relationship is anymore, but he was like, man, I really wish we could have got Kyrie, this and that.
Remember in Summer League where they didn't talk to each other?
Oh, right after that.
Where Russ was on one end of the court and LeBron was on the other, and they didn't go say, and we were following, like, I was at that game. God. We were following who LeBron went and said hi to, and he didn't talk to Russ.
Russ talked to everybody else but LeBron.
That's right.
All the Lakers were there.
They all talked to like everybody except each other. Oh, that's my God.
Crazy.
The chat says Anthony Davis. I would agree if AD was making like 35 million or something like that, but he's at 60. Just logistically trying to make that trade work is so tough.
Yeah. But I think there's a lot. That's why I said initially, I think there's a lot of guys you could probably put in that situation, and he'd be like, okay, yeah, I like this a lot. I mean, he was willing to take a good bit less for guys like Klay Thompson.
That's right. He wanted Klay Thompson. Now that was back when AD was on the team, but he wanted Klay. He wanted James Harden. Yeah. Remember, he wanted Jonas Valanciunas.
Yeah, that was
my understanding though was like he was willing to take like a lot less to get Klay or James Harden. There was somebody else. I want to say it was like, was it DeRozan or something like that? But he was willing to take like $5 million less or something to get Jonas. I think that was more of This is me personally think of this. I think that was more like a favor to AD. Hey, let's get a bruiser big, and I'll take a little bit less in order to get. But he wasn't. He was that weird inclusion in that list, and people were like, "What?" One of these things is not like the others. Why is Jonas Valanciunas on the list with James Harden and Klay Thompson and guys like this? It was Jonas on that list, but at a less value. A polar bear?
Yeah, it was a polar bear in Arkansas. Is that the meme? What is this polar bear doing?
That's what it is.
It wasn't a significant discount, but he was willing to take a little bit less.
A little bit less.
Yeah. And actually, I was mentioning Harden. I forgot Harden was on that list initially. Wonder if he still wants to play with him.
I mean, he can make it happen if he goes to Cleveland.
I wouldn't personally, but that just to each their own, right?
Harden with LeBron and AD, it still is, I think, a little bit of a stretch, but it makes a lot more sense than Harden with Luka and LeBron.
Yeah. If Harden is tasked with being primarily an initiator for others, playmaker for others, as opposed to a scorer, I think that works better. The Cavs team needed him to be more of a scorer than he was. If he could just be out there and be a playmaker, that'd be fine. Because he's a great setup guy, especially for bigs. Like he would have blended great with Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis actually really needs a guy to set him up. So that would have been nice.
Jose says, since Boston and Detroit were eliminated, it was an easy path for the Knicks to get to the finals, since there wasn't any real threat for them except the Hawks. Knicks fans were chanting, "We want Wemby," after game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
I do think they would have. I do think those teams would have been a better matchup than Cleveland, and maybe we don't see them literally sweep them. Frankly, if Cleveland wins game 1, they might have won another game or 2 in that series. I think that cost them the entire series the way that went.
Agreed.
But yeah, but this is you can only play who's in front of you, though. So that's why we're not 100% sure of the quality of the Knicks. But what we have seen is that they've been insanely good in the playoffs.
San Antonio and OKC may have an outlier level of sustainability in Adam Silver's new world of the NBA, where ideally parity is more of a thing. And again, OKC and San Antonio may stand above, but right now, if we are heading into more of a parity-driven era, especially, I mean, we've seen 7 straight different NBA champions, and maybe that'll continue this year. Maybe not. Maybe the Thunder will win it again. But your path, your draw in the playoffs is going to matter even more. Who you're matched up with. And I think we're increasingly seeing a league where certain teams are built to beat certain teams. And if they get that team in the playoffs, they're in good shape. And if they don't, then they're not. Minnesota is very well suited to beat the Denver Nuggets. If they have to beat somebody else, they can run into some issues. If they ran onto like OKC, they're not as well situated to beat OKC. So it's almost like a giant game of rock, paper, scissors, where if you get the right person or the right team that you're playing against, then you advance. And if you don't, then you don't. Now, again, I'm not trying to take any credit away from the Knicks or say they had an easy path or anything. I think this is just the reality of the league now, that it's not just the quality of your team, but it's also what's the quality of your opponents on your path in the playoffs, and which opponents do you get? How do you match up with those opponents? I think that's mattering now more than ever.
Yep, I agree with you. That's exactly how it is.
Hypothetically speaking,
let me show you.
Analytically, Cleveland won the series.
I was cracking up when I sent you that thing earlier. It's like, congrats.
Do you see Kenny Atkinson? Are the Cavs making the right decision by keeping Kenny Atkinson?
Oh, I did see that. Supposedly they're going to keep him. Probably not.
I don't think they should move on from him.
Are
they better with Jason Kidd?
No, I don't think he's the coach either.
I mean, the Knicks made the tough choice, brought in Mike Brown, and they're going to the finals.
Yeah.
Should that be the model?
I mean, sure, but I don't think Jason Kidd is the answer to that.
Okay.
I mean, he did go to the finals a couple years ago, but I mean, how much of that was him versus Kyrie and Luka?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the answer. For the Cavs specifically, I think they need more structure. So yeah, I think Kenny's fine. I just didn't like him so much in this series. But maybe they were just, I don't even want to say they were overmatched. They had a good roster. They just didn't play up to their capability.
Analytically, he was great.
Yeah, they were the champions analytically.
The champions. I'm gonna give him a little award. Analytics champions.
I don't like this new era where we're in, where everyone is like, "Oh, we were the best team out there for 3/4 of the series, or we led for 3/4 of the series until the final 2 minutes of the game, and then we lost."
Till the most important part of the game.
Yeah, looking at our team from a few years ago, where we led 90% of that series against Denver, whatever the hell it was, and then lost at the end of the game. Well, apparently you're not the better team if you're going to lose in that scenario, right?
Right.
that happened again this postseason with another team. We just keep seeing that. Analytically, we're the better team because XYZ, and this team is just having crazy luck with shot making.
All we have to do is at halftime of every game, cut power to the building, and we're the better team. That's it.
Ridiculous.
Easy.
I don't know why this era is like that, man. It's killing
me. David said, hypothetically speaking, what can a Luka trade look like? What team would be the best fit with the best assets in return? He all caps hypothetically.
Trading
I guess
Luka?
I think you would first have to go to, if you're trading Luka, what is the goal? Is the goal for the team to get a different star player and rework the team around said star, or to tear the whole thing down and build up from there? So if it's the former, you're talking about who's the best star that you could get. If it's the latter, you're talking about how many picks could you get, and who you're trading with is going to differ significantly depending on what path you're going down there.
Yeah, I'd assume they want to remain a team in contention, so you need to get back another star for Luka. How many stars would I be willing to trade Luka for? Not many. So
would you trade Luka for Ant?
No.
I don't think I would either.
Like, it would have to be Ant.
Who would you trade him for?
The only reason I do that is if it's Ant plus something. I wouldn't do that straight up. Not me personally.
The rumor was at the time that the Wolves turned down Ant for Luka.
As they
back
should.
when the Mavs were first looking. Now that was I don't know if it was confirmed, but that when Luka was traded to the Lakers, that they did make another call to the Wolves, and the Wolves were not into Luka for it.
I mean, that's what they should do. He's their guy they're trying to build around. He's another
Sure.
superstar. So, there's not many guys. I wouldn't trade him for Giannis.
Would you trade him for Jokic?
No. Honestly,
I might. I think I might trade him for Jokic. I think Jokic has hit a higher level of play.
Yeah. I was gonna say honestly, maybe, but that's about it. Otherwise, only guy I would really genuinely do it without really considering too much is probably Wemby.
Wemby's an easy.
That's it. Anybody else, I'd strongly think about it for a long time.
Let me ask you this. This is the loaded question. Would you trade Luka for Cooper Flag?
Didn't we talk about that?
We may have.
I think we talked about that.
Because Luka is what is he? 27, 28 now?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why I considered on Jokic too, because isn't Jokic about to turn 31? Like, he's going to be exiting his prime kind of soon here. I don't know.
Right.
But he has obviously a higher level of play. No, not right now. But can I answer this in 3 years? Because that may be a thing in 3 years. I don't know.
It could be.
I don't know.
It could be.
Right now, no.
Would you trade Austin Reeves to Minnesota for Io and another wing for depth and defense? If that wing is Jaden McDaniels, sure. If it's not, then no.
I guess. We're doing too much with this.
Come on.
We're doing too much.
Why would we say Cooper Flag is like Jake LaRavia with a little bit better shooting? Is that just because they're both white? Is that why?
What are we doing here, man? Come on. Come on. Dude.
I mean, if that's this, I love the sales pitch to the Mavs though. Like, hey, we'll tell you what, we'll toss in Jake LaRavia because he's Cooper Flag anyway.
Yeah. Could you imagine if Jake was actually Cooper Flag? This team might be in contention for they might actually be in the finals already if Jake was Cooper Flag.
Oh man, I love it. But bottom line, if you were to do a trade with Minnesota, first of all, Io is a free agent, so that would have to be a sign and trade. Austin obviously would be one as well. So we're talking about a double sign and trade. But would you trade that for another wing for depth and defense? Like if it's Terrence Shannon or something, like no, I'm not. And I like Io DeSumo a lot. I think that he fits basically anywhere, and he should have a number of offers, a number of teams ready to hand him the mid-level exception happily, and Minnesota should give him a little bit more than that. I think that should be the situation for Io DeSumo, if not a decent chunk more. I like him a lot, but I would not do that for Io and unnamed wing unless that wing's Jaden McDaniels, in which case the Wolves probably aren't doing that.
Yeah, I'm still laughing at the Cooper thing. Cooper's like 18. Like, what are we doing? Anyway, yeah, does Minnesota even do that? I don't know that Minnesota does that if they have to give up too much.
If it was like, I don't know, if it was Terrence Shannon and
Io,
I would think they would probably do that.
Maybe.
Especially since they need another guard. I mean, yeah, I mean that's not considering salaries at all or anything like that. But yeah, I would think they would. I would think they would do that.
I would think so too, but I'd be questionable because I wonder if it's a situation where Austin is worth more to us than he is to other teams.
Could be.
Maybe that's because, like, I don't know. Iowa's pretty great. Terrence Shannon he could be pretty good, you know.
Io and Nas is more interesting.
Oh, I would love that, but I don't think they do that personally.
Well, here's the other thing too, is I think now I'm not saying this is value-wise not good or whatever, but I think the Lakers only want to use Austin Reeves to move up. You know what I'm saying? Like they only want to use Austin Reeves to go get.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a few years now.
Right. Like I don't think they want to turn him into like two really good rotation guys. I think they would want to move him into, if they're going to trade him, it's going to be for someone even better for one player that's even better than Austin Reeves.
Yeah. I don't think either of those guys is individually a better player.
Right. Kawhi ain't becoming a free agent this summer. Yeah, probably not unless his deal gets voided. That's, I think, the only chance. So if he's in his last year, do you see a Kawhi trade before the deadline, or he'll be an unrestricted free agent next summer? He fits with so many teams and makes them a contender. Yeah, I do think that Kawhi is the guy that we need to, after Giannis, he's probably the most next interesting trade target. Now, he could do an extension with the Clippers and wind up just saying, I'm going to spend the rest of my career here. I don't know what that number would be at. It depends. The Clippers, they're going to have a lot of flexibility, but money doesn't grow on trees. They're going to have to figure something out in terms of what's a fair offer for him. But I could see them extending him. I could also see them moving him. I could see them uprooting him and putting him in a different location. But to get there, you would have to have a team that was really interested. And I do think Minnesota will have interest. I think Golden State will have interest. I think Miami will have interest. But all of this would happen post Giannis. I think once it's clear, either it's done, Giannis is traded, or it's clear where he's going, then the Kawhi market will really pick up, because I think the teams that are interested in Giannis will largely be the teams that are also interested in Kawhi.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, Kawhi could be a really big swing for a team.
Absolutely.
Like if he plays anything like he did this last year, holy shit. I thought he was a top 5 player last year or this year.
If there is a team that is willing to if there's a team that's willing to give the Clippers value based on what Kawhi did this year, the Clippers should cash in.
They should. 1 year left on the deal also? Man, whoever, so you have that situation where the player will say, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go, blah, blah, blah. But you would trade for Kawhi with the mindset that he's going to extend with you. Now it is Kawhi, and he may play 20 games next year for all we know. That's probably an exaggeration, but like he's typically not been all that available. So it's going to be hard to say I'm going to extend you for 3 more years, and hope to get
Mhm.
60 games out of you because you just don't know. But I mean, if you get at least 1 year on the front end of that, maybe you see what happens. Maybe you protect yourself with 1+1s or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, you could do something like that, but he should absolutely be a high priority target for teams. But again, you're just not doing it until Giannis is off the board. But yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance Kawhi Leonard gets moved this summer. I can see that happening.
Yeah, analytically, we're the better team.
Besides the Lakers, which other teams in the East or West is under most pressure to upgrade their roster and free agency to compete? I mean, Cleveland just had the most expensive team in the NBA and got swept out of the conference finals. There's going to be pressure on them to make changes. Detroit had they were the number 1 seed and neglected to make clear and obvious additions to their roster at the trade deadline. They, I think, need to make some moves. Boston, kind of like they're in an interesting position because people didn't expect them to be good, but they're a team that I think could take a step forward. Houston certainly was expected to be better than they were and then got bounced out in round 1. Basically, any team that went home early. Denver, I think, is a really interesting one to see what's going to happen with them. Minnesota is going to put pressure on themselves to improve. I think there's a number of teams that are going to be feeling pressure this year to get significantly better.
What about Atlanta? You think they have?
Atlanta was the one that I was going to say. Atlanta may be the one team that doesn't, just because they're already on such a great trajectory and on the rise. And okay, let's see what Jalen Johnson's going to be. And we won the summer last year with the signing of Nickeil Alexander-Walker that turned into one of the best contracts in the NBA. We also pulled off the trade for Kuminga, who we think can fit. I think Atlanta is in a position where they can say, as long as we continue on the same path, we're going to keep making progress. They don't necessarily have to swing for they need to go find a big, but otherwise they don't necessarily have to do a swing for the fences type move. I don't think they're going to feel the same level of desperation as some of these other teams that we're talking about, Will.
Can we say the same about Detroit, though? Because most of their guys are young. They've got a long runway ahead. They're I think they overachieved this year, being the number 1 seed.
Right. Detroit, my issue with Detroit is just that Atlanta was not the 1 seed. Detroit was the 1 seed. Detroit had the best record in the East for the vast majority of the season. They had a real opportunity to go win it all right now, and instead they acted like they were the 7 seed. And hey, we're just happy to be here type of thing. Detroit had a real chance. Atlanta, it would have been a crazy upset if they had gotten there, but they can say, hey, we're on the rise. Detroit was like, hey, we were there. Did we blow it? Did we not capitalize on our window right now? That's how I see the difference between those two.
Yeah, but the way I see it also is that, again, they have a longer runway. They overachieved. I wouldn't have projected them to be number 1, and I don't project them to be number 1 again next season.
But that's
I don't know if they needed to make a...
And they may not be. And that's where we could be looking back and saying Detroit had their chance.
I guess. Do you think they would have had a chance against the teams out of the West, even if they added shooting to this roster?
If they added shooting and playmaking? Sure. I mean, I'm not saying they would have won the whole thing. I'm not saying they would have. Realistically,
but they didn't have a chance.
There's not a move that Detroit or anybody is going to make that we're going to go, hey, on paper, they're now better than the Thunder. Or on paper, they're better than the Spurs. Those teams are going to stand at the top. So that's the hard part, right? Is there a move that would have made them better? No, and that's true for everybody. There's not a move that Houston's going to make where we're going to go, oh, they're better than the Thunder now. It's not a move that Dallas is going to make. There's not a move the Lakers are going to make or anybody else. So that's the hard part with that. But could they have done something to at least give themselves a puncher's chance rather than going to the playoffs with a clear weakness that can be picked apart?
Yeah, they should have.
They could have done stuff.
They should have tried to when they saw they were the number 1 seed. They should have tried to improve the roster. Like I'm not that.
You know what? You know why it got under my skin so much? I think and this is just dawning on me here, Donnie. This is a moment of realization here. This is a moment of self-reflection. And I think the reason why this bothered me so much, it's because of the Lakers. The Lakers in 2020, they carved the path, the model by which all teams since have largely followed in terms of we're going away from an era of 3 stars, whether they intended to or not. They were pushed into this 2 stars and depth that can defend and shoot and do all these things. They created that model and then didn't believe what they had found and went away from it. Detroit was the number 1 seed and then acted as though they didn't believe in what they were. They went back to, well, no, we're not really at that level. We happen to be the 1 seed, but that's not what's real is what we thought we were going into the season. And that's how we're going to act. The Lakers built this team that set forth the new path for NBA teams and got a year or 2 in and then said, no, 3 stars is really the way to go. Let's go back down that path, and didn't believe what they had found. Detroit did the same thing here this year. They didn't believe that they were really a 1 seed. They went, yeah, we're a 1 seed, but let's just kind of feel it out in the playoffs this year. We'll just be happy to get there. And whenever we go home, and at least we've discovered some things about ourselves, and then we can grow from there. Rather than, no, we are actually legit. We are the 1 seed. We do have a real shot, and this is the team we need moving forward.
I like that you said the word found, because that was not the intention. They were trying to get the guy on the screen right now, in fact.
They're trying to get Kawhi.
I like that you said found, because that is the operative word, because they were not trying to do that at all. They stumbled on that bad boy.
They stumbled. That was their backup, and give them credit for having a good backup plan. But there was no like premeditated, we're going to zig where everybody else is zagged. No. They wanted 3 stars. And then they went, okay, I guess we'll do it this way. And they won a championship.
Yep. They said, so when they got a chance, though, a couple years later, they did it. But they did double down on that the following season after winning, but it just didn't work. The quick turnaround, they fell apart. So, but yeah, what about Minnesota as a team?
The chatter out there about Minnesota being afraid of Anthony Edwards ultimately wanting a trade, that probably does add some fuel to their fire. The challenge is they really have, 2 cycles before they have to make a decision on Ant. Mm-hmm. So when you think about Ant, he's extension eligible right now. I'm sure they'll give him whatever. But even if he were to say, I don't want to extend right now, I want to wait, they've got this summer, they've got next summer, the following summer, 2028, as of his present salary construction here, that's when he would really have the ability to influence where he goes. That in 2028. So that said, that'll come up fast. And if he really starts making noise next summer, like that will put them in an uncomfortable spot. But it's the kind of thing where Minnesota can't ignore it. They've got to address some things right now. And if they look like, oh, it's so far out, we don't need to worry about it yet, it'll come up fast before they realize it, and then they'll be in trouble. So I do think they're going to be motivated to do something significant. And, Tim Connolly said, if we miss, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, if we miss, we're going to miss back. It's going to be loud. We're not going to do something quiet here. We're going to try to do something significant. And if it doesn't work out, it's going to not work out in a very loud way, because we're gonna make some noise. So I'm curious to see what they do. I do think Minnesota is very motivated to. I think Gobert, Randall, and Nas, at least one of them is not on the team next year. At least one.
Yeah, and I brought them up because of that chatter 1 and 2. They've been trying for the last couple seasons to pair a star with Ant. Like it was KD, it's been Giannis. Mm-hmm. They've been trying in the mix to get one of these guys. They just haven't. In fact, they were on the door for KD, but KD turned that down too, like he did the Warriors a couple years ago. They've been trying, so I would assume they continue to try, but they keep on getting to the Western Conference Final a couple times there, or they're not able to get over the hump. So they should feel like they need to make some changes here. And like you said, you don't want to wait too long. Have your window pass you by. That's certainly possible. You do still have a guy who's a superstar, has not even entered his prime, so technically your runway is still decently long here. But you've been this far. I think this team is ready to win. You just have to put the pieces around it, and it looks like that could be a star player. I just don't know exactly who that is, right? And I think they should try to get one of those guys if possible.
Yeah. Agreed.
But I think they should be feeling the pressure, because if you go into the next season with this same roster, it's not extremely urgent, but you should be feeling it for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They need to get ahead of it before they are really considered a team with the stink of desperation on them.
Yeah. That would not be great. You don't want to get there.
All right, everybody. Why don't we wrap things up there? I didn't even realize we've been on here for nearly 2 hours here. So let's wrap things up. I'm sure Donnie would like to get some sleep.
I had this monster, man. I was good.
Oh, you're not going to sleep. Are you the type that could like drink an energy drink and then just immediately pass out?
I'll be asleep soon. Don't worry.
Okay.
But that's the only way I can make it through this time slot, because normally it starts hitting like 9 o'clock for me. My body starts getting all ready for bed. I start getting all tired and airheaded. I'm ready for bed, man. But right now I'm fine because I was prepared.
I'm going to be up for like at least 3 more hours. No question.
Nah.
Yeah.
I always tell you, go to sleep, man. You need to go to sleep, dude.
Everybody tells me to. I went to sleep. I went to bed earlier last night, like 45 minutes earlier than usual, which was like, what would that be? Like 1:45 Pacific time.
Yeah, see, I can't do that, but I'm also up super early anyway. Like I'm up at like 5 something, maybe 6. I'm up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I can't do mornings. I'm not a morning person at all.
Yeah, I've always been. Ever since I was a kid, I used to wake up at like 3 a.m. to watch some cartoons and stuff like that. I've always been a morning person.
You woke up at 3 a.m. to watch cartoons. What cartoons are on at 3 a.m.?
Well, when I was growing up, it was like Japanese anime and stuff like that. So
okay.
It was the only time to be able to, because the time difference, you couldn't really catch it. So
I was gonna say, you're not watching like Scooby-Doo at that time or anything like that.
I mean, you could. They have, what is it? Boomerang? That's on all 24
that's
hours,
true.
right? You could do that if you want to.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, no, I've always been in that. Analytically, I get tons of sleep. Yes. That is accurate. That is accurate. All right, everybody. Appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you all for subscribing to the Basketball Bulletin. We appreciate all of you. Oh, no. Thank you, everybody. Till next time. See you and stay safe.